somber time, Jason. It's a somber time for us.
Yes, it is.
But as I told you in our text, we're gonna get through this together, man. We are a team.
We have to. I can't. I don't, man. I don't know. I don't know. How the fuck did I get here? It's the middle of the summer. I'm supposed to be having fun, and I'm knee deep in Bayformers.
As our friend Jerry used to tell people whenever he would call someone to get help or try to get them to like a customer service help, he would scream that they were ruining his summer no matter what time of the year it was.
That's awesome.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to a brand new episode of Brandy's Peach Tea, episode 121, for those who are tracking that. It's a nice, beautiful summer Friday in New York. For the rain got out of the way earlier today because that's what the weather in New York is. It just rains every day at some point during the day. We are Florida now.
We are.
At least that's what's happened now.
In the summer, anyway.
Yeah, in the summer at least. So, but thanks for joining us as always. We've got a lot of stuff. We got a pretty packed show, actually.
We do.
We got a new trailer for the Marvels that dropped earlier today, so we'll be watching that in about a minute. We got 2 episodes of My Adventures with Superman, since we didn't cover the last one last week. This is the time we went on. Secret Invasion episode 5. Wow, wow, we wow.
Yeah.
And we are continuing our run through the Michael Bay era of Transformers live-action movies, and we are up to Transformers Dark of the Moon. So we get to go ahead and discuss that later on. But Jason, what's up? Outside of Dark of the Moon, how was your week?
No, things have been good, man. My wife and my son have been away on vacation, so I've been like cleaning the house and watching shitty Bayformer movies and playing video games. What am I playing lately? I've been playing through the Batman games. I went through old Arkham Asylum, Arkham City. And then I was gonna go Arkham Knight, but then I forgot there's so much Batmobiling around there, and I'm not crazy about that. But I do got to go back to it. But anyone who's not played those games or just want to experience a phenomenal Batman story, just pick any one of those up, because those stories, those are one of the few video games that I play for the story throughout. That's like reading one of my favorite comics.
All right, so you're trying to say that the viewers should not watch Gotham Knights, the TV series, that they should play the video game of any of the Batman Arkham games instead?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, right. I just wanted to make sure we were on the same page.
100%. Look, even skip Gotham Knights. It was fine. It was a fun game. It kind of wears at the end, but just go relive the trilogy that is the Arkham games, because those games, man, story-wise, combat-wise, and the story, it is a trilogy. Like, it starts with Joker getting sick. The second one, he gets Batman sick. Third one, he's haunting Batman. I mean, it ties in together. It's such a beautiful story.
Okay.
So that's it. That's what I want to talk about, to cleanse the palate of the garbage that we've been talking about on this show.
Yeah, there are some people within PCP who are also defenders of this movie. Jader cannot be with us today, but he is a defender of Dark of the Moon, so I guess we'll talk to him about that some other time.
I don't understand. I really wish he was here to enlighten me. I know.
Yeah, and I'm sure Bert and Dom, they probably have this as maybe their best movies of the year for that year that it came in. This was 2011. Yeah.
Did no other movies come out that year?
Yeah, remember that was the movie. That was the year when they just decided to not release movies for the entire year, and then it was just like this.
I mean, because that's the only way I could see this being the best movie of that year. I mean, even if I thought this was good, I can't imagine this being the best movie of the year.
I'm joking. There's no way that they possibly said that. But I'm just.
Okay.
All right. I had no we've had no conversations about that. I just.
Okay. I don't look. All I know is that there are rabid fans of these movies. Walter, friend of the show, my co-teacher, really is nostalgic for these movies and loves them. So I guess it's nostalgia. So I know there's a rabid fan base for this, but I am so offended by this stuff that I need to understand why people like this.
I have no idea. But before we do watch the Marvels trailer, though, we do have a guest who's from many, many shows on PCP, including this one.
Mr.
on many,
PCP
many
himself.
occasions. Tim, what's up?
What's going on, guys? How's
What's
everything?
up, Tim?
What's going on?
I'm at work. I figured I'll pop in for as much as I can. I'm probably going to press Transformers. Thank God.
Lucky you.
Can I go with Tim? I think Tim's boss needs me to do something.
Dude.
Oh, he's in and out. All right, so I guess you're going to be along for the ride for, I guess, as long as we can have you. All right, so I guess we'll get started though with this morning. There was a new trailer for the Marvels that had dropped. It actually dropped late last night, but I went to sleep, I guess, before this one had dropped. So I woke up to this pretty cool thing. We do get to watch these things together. Tim, did you watch the trailer yet?
I did watch it, yes.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and pop this on. Let's all watch it together, and we'll have like an actual reaction to this thing. So let me get this thing pulled up right away. There we go. And boom, let's do this.
Carol Danvers, prodigal child of the Milky Way.
Nick Fury, my favorite one-eyed man of intrigue.
How goes it out there?
I don't know. Cold, no air, space.
Captain Marvel, the Annihilator. You took everything from me. And now I'm returning the favor.
What is happening to me? She's entangled our light-based powers. So we switch places whenever we use them.
Strong theory.
You can absorb light. I can see it. And Kamala. Who's Kamala? Hi. She can turn light into physical matter, which I have never heard of.
I could totally show you. She's targeting every planet we call home. I would never choose to bring anybody into this.
You are not the only thing standing between this and the universe.
Oh my god, we're a team.
Higher.
Further. Faster.
Who's that good kid? Gus.
I can't. Can you?
I got it.
All right. So what's up? Thoughts, anyone?
Who wants to go first?
Jason, go ahead. You actually just saw this for the first time. I watched this earlier too.
I think look, I think it looks fun. I like Kamala Khan a lot. I like that actress a lot. I enjoyed Miss Marvel a lot. So I think this is going to be fun. I actually did like Miss Marvel, the one in the 90s. I actually did like that movie. I know a lot of people don't. My prediction for this movie, I mean, for the trailer, I think the trailer was good. Trailer gets me excited. I think these trailers show a bit too much. I wish it wouldn't lay out the whole fucking plot of the movie for me. I wish it would leave something to the imagination when I get in there. But from what I think it looks good. I'm excited to see it.
Okay, Tim.
Yeah, me too. I think it's going to be fun. It looks like they're trying to lighten up Brie Larson a little bit because I always put like a stiff fucking loaf of bread or like just boring as shit, and I don't like her. But she looks like they're trying to lighten her up, make her a little more relatable. Yeah, Kamala Khan. She's one of my. I have such a non-sexual crush on.
Someone said booted him off.
I like the actress. I like the girl who plays him because she's so, she's a fan who got to play
Yeah.
role. So I admire that so much, what she brings to the role. And yeah, I said they did leak a little too much because you got the villain now, the "you took everything from me" villain. It's like, really? I don't want to see. I don't know any of that shit yet. But no, I think it looks fun. I think it's gonna be a lot of good movie. Can't wait.
Okay. Yeah, I'm excited for it. I also, really, as anyone who follows here knows, I like Miss Marvel a lot. Also, I think Jason and I both agree it's one of the best Disney Plus shows that they've done so far. I also enjoyed the first Captain Marvel, so I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah, it's good to see them move on, and it's good to see the three of them together, as well. I think that's gonna be pretty cool. As far as the trailer goes, I'm still at the same place as I was before I saw it because even though they showed more new footage, I don't think they've really revealed anything more. Personally, I mean, we knew that they were swapping places. We knew that was going to be a thing in the first trailer.
The villain's new, right?
The villain, they've showed her, but like Tim had mentioned, like she has a quick line, "You took everything from me." We still don't know exactly necessarily what that is per se. It's still kind of vague. We know that Miss Marvel's bangles seem to be, like she has them on at one point. So they were probably hers at one point. So maybe that is the item that they took from her that she doesn't have anymore. I don't know. I'm just drawing conclusions from basically what we have. But I don't know. My Marvel's trailers, I trust them because they seem to think you're getting a lot, but you really don't know more than that. And there's, like we talked about last week, those could be fake shots in here, shit that we've never seen in a movie.
Yeah.
The famous Avengers Infinity War. Look, Hulk is joining the battle. Wait, Hulk was in the movie for 5 minutes, and he was never anywhere near that battle. So, I don't know. I'll trust him with that. But, yeah, I'm excited to see it. It looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. Like, Tim had mentioned, maybe for those who felt that maybe Brie Larson was a bit too serious or didn't smile enough in the first movie or in her other appearances, because she has appeared briefly, in Avengers Endgame. She was a pretty big deal in that, in the final battle. And in the beginning of the movie as well. Yeah, it seems like it's going a little bit lighter, with that. But I enjoyed her previously, so I mean, I'm still on board. It didn't deter me in any way to be like, oh, I got to see this. That's probably not going to happen anyway. So, yeah, I don't know. Looked pretty cool. The poster looks cool for those that saw that. They dropped the poster as well, and it'll be here in November. So we got that. I think while we're honest a little bit, I wanted to talk a little bit on Kevin Feige's comments regarding Bob Iger's comments regarding not the strike part of anything, just regarding the Marvel stuff. So he kind of seems like he feels that Marvel has perhaps maybe broadened their horizons a little bit too much with the shows coming in, 3 movies a year, that perhaps that's why the quality has not been as consistent as we were used to before the shows came out. I kind of wanted to pick your guys' brains about that to see what you thought about that. Tim, you want to start off?
I disagree. It's not like they're just throwing out random shows with random plots with random. Everything is connected. That, to me, that makes it all fine. Maybe I don't know. Off the top of my head, is there a show that I could do without? No, I mean, they're all connected in some way or another, all going to lead to the next Avengers. So I really don't see the big deal in that. I mean, if you're going to fix the quality of a movie, just fix the goddamn quality. Because a lot of this stuff has been about special effects and CGI. Why would that because of too many shows or too many movies? That doesn't make any sense to me. So I agree with them. I've had no problem with. I want more. Maybe just I want more. I don't want less. I'm disappointed that we have no more movies coming out until November. I wanted a movie right around now to keep my invasion that's supposed to be, keep it held over until then.
Well, I think regarding that part, the movie thing, if I recall, Guardians was supposed to come out like more in the summer, and they moved the release date. So I think the idea is to have it like first half of the, first part of the year, middle of the year, fall, And that's good. I agree with you. I think the movies, you should spread it out like that. And I would probably drop a show in between the two. And I think that's enough, personally. Now, Jason, we've literally covered every single Marvel Plus, Disney Plus show that has aired because it's dropped when we started our podcast. So, do you feel that the quality maybe has been a little bit inconsistent, or again, what we were used to before? Because we discussed this here and there on the show. Because back like pre-Endgame, it was like every single Marvel Studios movie, at least the perception was, this is a banger. Like it's flawless. Which I think the three of us agree that it wasn't. Like occasionally, there's movies where like, hey, this is okay, and like we don't like Iron Man 3, or people hate Thor: The Dark World, or The Incredible Hulk seems to be the ones getting the shit. Do you feel the quality maybe that they spread themselves too thin, or some fans are feeling overload?
I mean, I actually do agree with them. I mean, and it's a weird thing because I personally I like having all this shit out. Like, it doesn't affect me at all. Mm-hmm. But I can see where he's coming from in a couple of stances. Like, and we've talked about the saturation of the comic book market. And I think, that when you drop a lot of shows and movies like they did in the short span they did, there is a saturation. And I think the putting out as many shows, and again, I was going to watch them anyway. I like them. I'm not shitting on them, but I think putting out as many shows as they did that lead directly into movies kind of can become overwhelming for the casual fan, for the person who's like, I like this stuff, but I'm not like gonna hunt it down and be there. Like they're not like us who go see it twice in the theater. So I do see where he's coming from. I do think he has a point. And as far as the quality, like I don't think the quality. I think we, as you said, Ed, we put the quality of the first three phases on a pedestal. I don't think these phases have been as good as the first three, but I think, again, we've discussed it. It's trying to do something different. It had hits and misses, just like Phase 1 did, because essentially it's trying to reboot the phases, right, into the multiverse thing they're going. So I get also, like, having so many properties, so many things going on, it's hard to keep up. And, they only have a certain X amount of time and X amount of people to work on this stuff. So maybe that's why the CGI is getting a bit wonky. But I mean, so I guess what I'm saying is, personally, I like the stuff, but from objectively, I could see the point he's making.
Yeah, I agree. Like, the three of us are maybe not the people who would say, oh, it's too much, it's overloaded. We're watching the shows the day that they drop. We're all in. We're invested. Obviously, this is why we're here doing this, even on top of that, because we were doing this before anyway.
Yeah.
And I guess the real questions would be, like Tim mentioned, the CGI is what's come to light over the last year or so, right? Like, people bang on Thor: The Love and Thunder for not maybe having the best CGI at times. Really revolving around the floating head. This seems to be the thing that people have an issue with. I don't give a shit. That doesn't take me out of the movie.
I thought Ant-Man looked great. It was supposed to look like that. It's the goddamn. Yeah. It's the quantum realm. Where
exactly.
Is the blueprint for the quantum realm that it doesn't look like the quantum realm? There's no blueprint for it.
Yeah, I agree. You can't go to Atlanta, Georgia, which I'm just dropping that because it seems like everyone films in Atlanta, Georgia now. You can't go ahead and film in Georgia the quantum realm. So I don't know. I had no issues with the CGI in Quantumania either. We enjoyed the movie. Didn't think it was like the greatest thing ever, but like, it's not like I was dreading watching it or anything. It was fine. There's people who complain about She-Hulk as well. Like, the CGI there could have been considered wonky at times, or there's people who genuinely hate the show. I don't think it's because of like the quality of it. I think the quality is fine. It's not one of my favorite Disney Plus shows, but I still don't call it a bad show. And I thought the CGI with She-Hulk was fine. Again, like Tim was mentioning, what's the basis of it? Where are you gonna go ahead and have a She-Hulk, You rather paint somebody in green and have them walk around as She-Hulk? We're going to go back to Lou Ferrigno? Is that what we're kind of doing here? Would you prefer that? Probably not. So, I don't know. That's what I would think the schedule should look like. 3 movies, 2 shows a year, and I think you're good. You fill the palette constantly, and I think that's, even if they had 3 shows a year, fine. But I don't know. I don't feel overloaded, and I do think, I'm just trying to think in terms of the casual fan. Yeah, they might feel like it's a lot keeping up, but these shows aren't long shows either. They're 6 episodes. They're 8 episodes, something like that. They're not 24-episode shows like what we used to get on broadcast TV. Then I would say, yes, that's a bit excessive if they were doing that. I don't even know how the hell they would do that. Plus, I think the question is, how involved, and we won't know this, but how involved is Kevin Feige in every single property now, as he was when it was 2 or 3 movies in a year? I'm assuming the dude was on set every single day and was like really, really hands-on. I don't know that answer.
I can't imagine he can be. He's only one person.
Yeah. So, but he's greenlighting these things. I don't think there's ever been a Marvel Studios project that was like he didn't thoroughly go through and give the thumbs up to and green light or have any kind of creative input with. I can't imagine that happen. But no, he's not on set every day, I would imagine. So, I don't know. I mean, and then Tim, you could even speak to, if you want to, because the comparisons always go Kevin Feige oversees Marvel Studios, Kathleen Kennedy at least still oversees Star Wars, and Star Wars does not have as much content coming out as as the MCU does.
But she's getting shit on because she ruined all the Lucasfilm products.
Did she though?
Indiana Jones as well as Willow. They're saying she's 0 for 3 in Lucasfilm franchises.
But she was a producer on Temple of Doom, and I don't know. She might have been a producer on Raiders also.
Yeah, back in the day.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. She's kind of been around for a little bit. I don't think they picked her completely out of like a name out of a hat or anything.
It's kind of unfair to blame her when like projects that aren't that good start to fail. Like Dial of Destiny, I heard it was fine, right? But we can't exactly say that it's her fault. I mean, it's the fact that Harrison Ford's 90 years old, and this movie probably should have been done 30 years ago to end out this series. And maybe we shouldn't be suckling at the teat of nostalgia to make a quick buck anymore. But I mean, we can't blame one person for that.
Well,
I blame her for Star Wars, absolutely.
Well, Star
Tim,
Wars,
Tim,
you could speak to more than I can.
Well, Tim, do you blame her for? And I know we're getting off topic a little bit, but I mean, it's still the connection. Do you blame her for Star Wars in the same way that I would, of saying she doesn't run as tight a ship as Kevin Feige appears to, at least? Like, she hired certain people and fired them, and that keeps happening over and over again. Like, take your time, vet the writers, the creators, what you're getting pitched, and let's make it happen. I mean, there are MCU projects that have gone on a board and disappeared also, but nowhere near to the same effect.
He doesn't have the, I don't want to say the balls, but yeah, she doesn't run that ship like you said. She doesn't have that gravitas. That's the word I want to use.
Yes.
Nice word.
Yeah, how many people fired, let go? Then this one's brought on. Abrams was brought in after Colin. What's his name? What was his name? The Jurassic Park director. What was his name?
Jurassic Park? Oh no, he's talking about Jurassic World. The third dude. Was it Colin Trevorrow?
Colin Trevorrow, whatever. Yeah. If you got a guy like that ready to direct the third one, they not fire him. J.J. Abrams comes on the last second, and that kind of ruined J.J. Abrams' legacy a little bit. And the Han Solo movie was a disaster. The fact that she came out and just said, women are in control of this trilogy now. It's going to be women, all the women. The hero's going to be a woman. It's like, dude, I get it. I'm all for the hero being a woman. I could care less, but don't start shoving that down people's throats because they're going to rebel. You tell anything, that goes with any one subject of a person. This person's going to be, we're going to have a fucking Wookiee's going to be the lead, and it's going to be all Wookiee all the time. It's not going to work. It's not going to work.
But I mean, I'll take your word and say that quote, because I didn't read that quote, but I'm sure she did. But with Star Wars, that didn't even happen, because we had Andor, we've had Mandalorian, we've had and it's funny because with the Mandalorian, it's like, well, I mean, we have Din Djarin, but like, there's also other Mandalorians, and they're focusing on more than one Mandalorian. I mean, it could have been a plural thing instead of just like, a singular dude who was the Mandalorian. So I mean,
well, but it was Rey, Jyn Erso.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be a female villain at first, and all these things got changed at the last second. It was all about the woman at first. Again, I don't care. It makes sense and it works for the movies. Yeah. But that also turned off a lot of people saying, why? I get it. You want to have a woman as the lead character. That's fine. But why does this one have to be? Or why does it have to be this, or this? Like every movie now, they're only going to have a woman hero. You're not going to have something else. A lot of people like, dude, you can't do that shit. And then, how many times did we discuss the whole lack of, you have a trilogy, and 3 directors at the time didn't get together and write a script. And you got 3 different movies, 3 different stories, and that's I'm sorry, but that falls on her. That doesn't fall on J.J. Abrams or Rian Johnson. That falls on her.
Yeah, no, I would agree, and I think that's where the MCU has never gotten anywhere near the Star Wars aspect of it, because you have somebody who was actually planning the whole thing all together, and that's what I think you would need. But I don't know. I'm curious to see where they go, because I mean, by Bob Iger's comments, and he re-signed to stay on for a few more years. He's apparently I'm guessing they're gonna scale back some of it, the scope of it, but I still don't see them falling back on 3 years. 3 movies a year is pretty much going to be the standard. I just think the Disney Plus shows, we're not going to get as much content as we did, but we also got a lot in a very short amount of time. So that's what my guess is, but we'll see. 2 or 3 shows a year, I think, is cool. I think that's kind of fair to expect fans to follow along with that. Movie, show, movie. That's it. And maybe a presentation like Werewolf by Night, or whatever the heck you want to throw out there. The Guardians Holiday Special or something like that. So, all right. I guess that we'll keep it moving on with not me personally, not Jason's, but my adventures with Superman. Maybe it's Tim's adventures with Superman. I don't know. It could be. Episodes 3 and 4. Tim, have you watched this?
I have not watched it yet.
Okay. All right. So,
but I have to unfortunately go back to work anyway. But I will pop in on the chats when you do a Secret Invasion, because I do have some opinions on that show.
Awesome.
Right, well, you got the link. Let us know. Just pop in. Let me know.
You got it. Got you guys.
All right. Catch you later.
All right. So, Jason, how did your adventures with Superman go this week?
I mean, again, my opinion remains the same. This is fine. It's just not for me. Again, we talked about, maybe the tone will be a bit more adult. It's not. But I mean, interesting stuff happens. We meet, Cat Grant Jr. because this is like Superman babies. It's like Muppet Babies and it's fine because it's like them like in college. It's so weird, but. I mean, it seems like it honestly seems like they're in high school, but that's just the way they're acting. They're probably like,
yeah.
I like they're fresh in their career. They're young. But we get like Cat Grant. That was an interesting pull. And she's like a real reporter at some point. I'm just jumping around because it's 2 episodes, but I think this is the 4th one because I just watched them back to back. They steal her credentials to go and interview it's the 3rd one. Interview the warden from a prison break that they're investigating because they're like interns. They're not real reporters.
Yeah.
And the whole thing is like this woman gets broken out. They say they dropped that she's the head of Intergang.
So yeah. So I thought. I mean, whatever. Without going too far. Yeah, no, Intergang in this. So there's a lot of re-envisioning of pretty established characters. Intergang in this is considered like a small, at least right at the moment, is considered like a small group of like minor thieves in this version of it. So there's a lot of reimagining of stuff. Which, by the way, we didn't mention this last time because I wasn't sure. But we previously did get Livewire, and also we did get Deathstroke.
Really?
Yeah, Deathstroke is one of the people that's with Argus at the end of episode 2. And we get him briefly at the end of episode 4 as well.
Oh, okay.
So there's more familiar characters popping in here and there.
Yeah, no, which is cool. But yeah, so that woman, is that Livewire? Is that what's her name?
Livewire, who has like the
Livewire.
grayish hair and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
So Livewire gets busted out, and they pretty much start going in on a crime spree. It's Lois really wants to have an interview with Superman, so her and Jimmy kind of engineer things to get themselves captured. So Superman comes and rescues them, and she'll get her interview. And that's kind of what the whole thing is her wanting to interview Superman and Clark being afraid to let her because he doesn't want her to find out a secret. That's the crux of that episode. But at the end, they help people, and he thinks that's heroic, so he gives her the interview and pretty much tells her nothing. So I don't know anything about myself. Bye-bye.
Well, which I'm going to be honest, I thought that I actually dug that for this iteration because what we know of Lois Lane gets the interview with Superman. And maybe kind of think back to the Christopher Reeve Superman, my night with Superman and stuff. But in this version, it's like, dude, I'm kind of just trying to figure myself out, man. I don't know shit. So I just know I got to help people, which I thought was kind of cool, though, in a way, because it's like we didn't get that. And I've always hated when Superman tells the world every little last detail about himself.
I know. Yeah, I know.
That drives me nuts. So I'm glad he didn't. He doesn't even know he's from Krypton. He doesn't actually know any of this yet.
No, absolutely. So yeah, I mean, this show's obviously hitting the origin Superman beats.
Mm-hmm.
So then the 4th episode, it's all about pretty much they're working together, Lois and the team. They're actually been given an assignment to go and into this party and ask questions, but there are these softball grant questions, and so Lois wants to have hard-hitting questions, and then Clark is kind of iffy, but then he like really goes in hard on this guy who's being like a prick, like, hey bro, I'll hook you up with some prostitutes. I mean, he doesn't say that, but pretty much. I mean,
kind of does.
And then he gets himself like ejected. That guy winds up being the villain. He's the head of this company. He's trying to create a suit of armor to help people. It's very Iron Man, actually. But I'm sure he is someone in the comic I just am not familiar with. He lures Superman. They have a cool fight. Superman wins. But the big takeaway at the end is Lois figures out in episode 4 that Clark Kent is Superman because she's got this Charlie Day fucking board with the red wires all over the place, and she's just like putting it together like, wait a minute, flying boy in Kansas. And then she's seeing Superman and seeing Clark, and she's like, Clark Kent is Superman. Dun dun dun.
So the couple of things I dug. I'm gonna be honest, I'm actually starting to come around on this, and
cool.
Whatever, a little behind baseball thing. Me, you, and Jason wanted. You and Bear wanted the other day talking about anime.
Yeah,
and this is very anime, so not usually my style. But like, I usually feel that anime gets completely incoherent, and I don't know what the fuck is going on half of the time. This, I'm able to follow, and it's fine. Maybe I don't know, it's because I'm familiar with Superman or whatever. But I did like the reimagining of Parasite in this. Because the suit is Parasite.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's purple. He draws the powers of all. He does call it the Parasite suit at one point.
And
while he's fighting Superman, same deal. And he ends up becoming all the form and stuff. And it's Dr. Ito. Now, you've seen Dr. Ito, and we have in Stargirl.
Yeah,
the
that's
Dragon
right.
King.
That's right.
Yeah. So.
Oh shit! Yeah, I knew I recognized the name. I just didn't put it together.
So there is, again, reimagining of a lot of DC stuff in this, which I'm kind of on board for just because I'm curious to know how they're going to keep this going. There's been no like Lex Luthor or anything like that just yet. I'm sure we'll get some version of Lex Luthor.
I thought that's what we were getting. Like when
That's what I thought.
They like the millionaire who's going to save Gotham, save Metropolis, and I'm like, are we getting Lex?
Oh, by the way, so our friend John Rice here. Superman versus prostitutes is a comic I want to read.
Yes, Rice. Yes.
No, that would be something. Maybe that's episode 5.
I hope so. Superman versus prostitutes.
The prostitutes come back for revenge.
That's how you get Selena Kyle in. Wasn't she a prostitute in one of those one-offs?
Who knows? Probably.
I think it was Batman Year One. She was a prostitute.
Okay, so yeah, it wouldn't be too far. Yeah, so I don't know. I see what you're saying regarding like I'm trying to figure out where the tone of this is though, because I haven't fully nailed. I can see the kitty thing, but I do wonder if still that's in the animation.
No, but I mean, for me, it's also in just the way they interact with each other and the story beats, like, you know, the love music when they're together. This, and again, I'm not even saying this is bad. I mean, Walter loves it, but Walter's a big anime fan, right? And I think that's what it is. I don't really love anime. I'm not really a cartoon person unless they're beating the shit out of each other with frying pans, because I love my Looney Tunes. But you know, I'm not saying this is bad at all. This is very interesting. It's just not for me because I'm not the audience. That's all.
So between me, you, and Walter, I'm somewhere in the middle.
Yes.
And you know, because I don't like anime, but yeah, I'm actually kind of digging this, and I don't know if it's because it's the topic or, you know, familiarity with the source material.
And it is an interesting take, like, you know, a younger Superman kind of figuring himself out, and you just move his origin, you know, down to his college years pretty much, or post-college years or whatever. It's an interesting take that I don't think we've gotten it, you know, so it's, again, not bad. It's just not for me.
And I've seen some articles out there even suggesting, to an extent, that this should be the blueprint for which James Gunn has Superman Legacy.
I can
because
see that.
We hear stuff about what we know of Superman Legacy is it's going to be a younger Superman who is going to be thrown into a world where heroes exist already. He's not going to be the first one. Superpowered people exist. We're just dropping Superman in there, and we kind of go from there. So, yeah, because that's what we're getting here, right? Like, superpowered people seem to exist already. He's not the only one. Young Superman finding his way. So, and there's also a lot of things in this where the alien, he discovers his heat vision in this episode as well, and I thought that was kind of cool there. And he also gets like a flashback to something that seems like from Krypton or from like an alien type thing. So I think there's more to that, and I think that's the part I'm pretty intrigued by is the Krypton aspect of it. Like, I wonder if we're gonna find out this Clark Kent was sent to Earth to take over, to dominate.
You think this is a Brightburn situation?
I wonder if that's where they're going with that. But he's obviously not going to do that. He will be, you know, I'm Clark Kent and I'm Superman and this and that. But I do wonder that because Jor-El speaking in another language and all this other stuff, and like in Kryptonian, which is something we've never gotten before, and he just seemed like he was very angry. Well, I mean, granted, I guess he's always angry.
Yeah, his world is being destroyed.
Yeah, I'll cut him some slack. Fine, fair enough.
Dude, if this becomes a Brightburn situation, I'm all in. I'm just saying.
No, but I want to say that the Kryptonians maybe they had that on their minds, and then he's like, "No, I'm going to flip the script. I'm Superman." I don't know. Throwing it out there. Who the hell knows? I don't really know. But. All right. So then that keeps us moving along to Secret Invasion Episode 5, which dropped on Wednesday. So that's it. After this, we got one more episode left. The finale is next week. We will drop the spoiler ticker across the bottom. So if you have not seen Episode 5 of Secret Invasion, come check us out another time. And that's it. So you have been warned. We are going to speak completely freely about Secret Invasion Episode 5. All right. Let's get into it then. This is a pretty power-packed episode here of it.
A lot happens.
lot going down here. So we got picks up in the beginning, Fury guarding POTUS, who is, really messed up from the last episode. So we got that. And he's literally bust out a chair and is really security right in front of him.
And he's
I thought that
whispering
was cool.
He's whispering in his ear, "Don't trust Rhodes. It's not the Russians." Like, he's trying to get him this information. Oh yeah, and when he takes that chair, sits down, he's holding the gun. Oh man, what an awesome Nick Fury moment.
Yeah, and like you had mentioned though, so Gravik's plan in this whole thing, and we knew about this last week, was he wants to get World War III essentially started. That's kind of what he's shooting for right now. But he does slightly pivot here because they were trying to kill the president of the United States and make the U.S. think that it was the Russians that did it. And now he pivots because he knows that there's knowledge of the Skrulls out there and that he's alive. But Talos is dead.
Yeah.
And Talos is dead. Like, he's dead now. We speculated last week. We weren't 100% sure. Consequences have arrived. Talos
they have.
Dead.
Which, yeah, glad there are consequences. Sad to see Ben Mendelsohn go. I really enjoy him in these movies.
Yeah, I always enjoy Ben Mendelsohn. He's awesome in whatever it is. But agreed. Consequences. So basically, Gravik pivots to this thing where he's like, and listen, we're going to go ahead and we're going to have the president know that Skrulls are out there. And he basically tells Schrody this, is to get the president to go ahead and bomb a part of Russia where the Skrulls are living out and say, listen, they're working in concert. They tried to kill you. Retaliate. World will see the U.S. is bombing Russia. Russia will react. I still get my World War III. But tells Fury, because apparently we also find out in this episode that the DNA that was lifted, apparently from the battle at Endgame, was lifted by the Skrulls. Fury ordered the Skrulls to collect the DNA of various Avengers. He keeps them together in a harvest and was hiding them, moving them around from different grave sites of his, apparently, to hide them. And Gravik wants it. And in exchange for that DNA, because he wants to give the Skrulls everything that the Avengers have on top of that, because they only have a limited amount, then we'll call it off, which we both know he's completely full of shit with that.
Of
Fury
course.
knows it too. There's no way that he's suddenly going to change course there. So I think that's pretty interesting, man.
It definitely gives a new level to Nick Fury and his duplicity. Like, he had Skrulls go and collect DNA from hurt and fallen. I'm not just Avengers. I'm sure anything that died. So they could fucking
the Avengers
DNA.
Yeah, the Avengers very loosely termed.
Yeah. It's like whoever was at that battle and spit some blood on the floor, he's got their DNA. That's kind of crazy. That's insane.
Yeah, and he feels super guilty about it and now we got the motivation of why he returned from his space station. Apparently, is that he was aware of this and he knows that this is kind of on him, so he has to clean it up. And this whole battle again, right now, is about him taking it personally. And we also get a scene here where he's talking to Sonya, which, by the way, just want to comment on the character of Sonya. This character has grown on me tremendously. She's fucking badass.
She is.
She's awesome. The way she talks to anyone in the show is just super bad. I love. She's the pretty much the Skrull assassin, right, Sonya? Yeah.
Like, which
she's like the Billy Butcher.
Yes. Yeah, right. Like, I know I'm jumping ahead, but when she walks up to the person she knows, the Skrull, and he's like, Skrulls, you think they're really here? And she goes, I know they are. Dude, and she outs him by shooting him in the leg. Like, we've been talking a lot about Sword. Maybe she's the head of Sword. Not much about Sword has been revealed quite yet. I mean, this is us speculating a lot. Right. But I mean, we've been speculating a lot, but we never brought her into the mix. And
no.
I think that they might be setting her. I think they are setting her up for something bigger.
Yeah, possibly. I don't think she's going to go away after the series. She's a pretty great character. But you're right. She tracks down Dalton who was the scientist that she was trying to track down previously, to find, because this Dalton character has been the Skrull who has been the scientist that is putting all this shit together and creating the Super Skrulls for Gravik. So that's what her thing is. We also get Scrody in this, who I'm going to keep referring to him as that then.
Scrody.
And he has this crazy exchange with Fury. Goes to the president's hospital and is like, listen, you're relieved of it. Fury pulls a fucking gun on him right there. And he's like, listen, I released that footage. It happened. It's happening in like 60 seconds. You're going to be the most hated and wanted man on the fucking planet because everyone's going to see you shooting Maria Hill. So you need to get the fuck out of here. And don't come anywhere near it again. You said, like, if you're in 100 yards of the president ever again, like, we're going to take you down. We're going to pretty much execute you right there.
And he has that great visual of as soon as Fury walks away from him, all of these, like, Secret Service, which I'm sure they're all Skrulls, just fill in line. And Rhodey's like, this is as close you're ever going to get to me again. I thought that was awesome.
No, Scrody's been pretty badass on his or her own, because I think we said we agreed. It appears like it's like a female Skrull that's playing the role. But with Skrulls, doesn't fucking matter anyway.
Yeah.
So, man, Scrody needs to fucking get it. I'm as badass as Scrody is. Really, just such a prick. Yeah. Another couple of cool things that we get in this episode. There is callbacks to Black Widow. 2 pretty big callbacks. So Fury needs to go to Finland to get the harvest, the DNA, because that's where it is, latest thing that we get. And he needs a way to get there. So he gets the plane from Natasha's boy, who hooks her up with her stuff in Black Widow, which I thought was really cool. That was cool. A callback. And it does make perfect sense that Nick Fury would be in touch with this dude.
Of course. It's spy shit.
Exactly. And also, he uses the Black Widow pretty much kind of like the MCU's version, the Widow's cloak. He uses to change his face to get through the airport, to get through there. It's kind of like their version of the Mission Impossible face mask change thing. Yeah, exactly. So I thought that was cool then. So I was like, again, like we mentioned earlier in the show, Jason, everything being connected. These are the fun little details for those who have seen every minute of the MCU. You pick this shit up right away, and it's awesome. The details matter. And that's why we love this shit. One of the reasons we love this shit.
For sure.
Another big scene in here is Gaia wants to bury Talos and give him a proper Skrull funeral. Seeks out the help of Nick Fury's wife, goes to her house because they have to do a ceremony for it. But then it's an assassination attempt because Gravik sends a team and they have this badass battle in the house.
That was awesome.
Which I thought was cool.
And I love the conversation because she's like, Daenerys is like, well, if you know they're coming for you, why are you staying here? And she's like, well, because this is my home. They're going to come for me wherever I am. Might as well be comfortable. Like, I just thought that was an awesome, like, fuck them.
Yeah, she said she wants it to be a happy place. But on top of that, though, I believe you. That is true. She also has a fucking armory ready to go. Because that's Nick Fury's house also. So you know the two of them are going to be fucking ready. If we learned anything about them, they're ready.
Yep. They are Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts. So they have this whole shootout and everything. It's a badass action sequence that goes on there. I thought that was cool. For those, there's some people saying that like Jaya really hasn't done too much. You got it in this episode. She's pretty badass in this. So then they give kind of like, it would appears, you could imagine a like Viking funeral type thing, what they do for Talos. They burn his body up and they kind of do this whole prayer thing. So yeah, like we said, dead. Like, that's it. Like, you're not coming back from being burned. Immolation, not even. No one come back from immolation. No, it's over. I don't care what you've been injected with. So then there's a conversation between Sonya and Fury towards the end of this at his gravesite where he's getting the harvest, where he kind of explains the whole thing of the deal of what's going on with that stuff. Gives the explanation also again. Because she also asks, why haven't you called in your friends? And he says, like, we can't count on these people to save us every single fucking time. Which, I don't know. What did you feel about that explanation? You know what? I like that explanation because what he's not saying is I can't call on them to fix my mess.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's because that's the thing. Like, yeah, if this were anyone else's mess, he'd be like, "Yo, Thor, come here. I need bring whoever. Just fucking come." You know, but this is his mess, and I think that's why that's where that's coming from. And it's a clever way to explain why we're not getting any of the Avengers in a movie where the stakes are the world.
Yeah, because you need to explain that. Again, we've had smaller scope stuff, but you can't always have the Avengers jump in to save every single thing. Same thing with those who read comics. Every solo issue doesn't have every team show up every single thing, so it is what it is. You got to let these heroes breathe a little bit. And this is also, I mean, from our perspective, this is the first time we've seen Nick Fury have his own battle to fight, not just like recruiting the Avengers or anything like that. I mean, the closest thing we've gotten to this was in Captain Marvel, but Captain Marvel is still the hero of that.
Yeah.
But he also says that, hey, listen, between my ears was from a single mother. That was a tool that I got there. And then my wife, and he refers to his wedding band, which he's wearing outside now. Because I guess, he figures the cat's out of the bag. So that was interesting. That she's better than ever I could have ever dreamed to be. So, we get more insight of how he views her. And he's like, if those tools can't really help me save the world, then, I don't know what else will. I thought it was kind of cool.
Yeah, I did too.
And then he goes into this tomb where he kind of like starts pressing a couple of things around. He busts out the leather jacket. We get the eye patch, the gun, and he makes a call. He says, it's time, essentially, to end this. Who the hell is he calling?
I don't know.
I can't imagine it's one of the Avengers because you just gave this speech about how you weren't going to call them in. So I think that negates that.
It would be stupid if it was. It couldn't be one of them. Like who's someone that he's worked with in the maybe it's Clark Gregg.
Wow. So that would be some shit if he's calling Coulson.
I mean, I would love that because I love Clark Gregg and I actually love that character of Coulson.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, who else could it who could it be?
It could be Abigail Brand, like the real one.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe I don't know because that call alone ruled out any pre-existing Avengers that we've had because we you wonder because up until that speech, Carol Danvers showing up would make sense.
Yeah, 100%.
But because of that speech, that threw me off that scent. It's not Maria Hill because she's dead. Man, it's interesting. And we also got to get in the finale. What the hell? Where is real Rhodey? Where is James Rhodes?
I don't know. Yeah.
I'm assuming he's locked up in stasis. I'm guessing.
He's got to be, right? And there's a lot of Rhodey stuff to address. Where is he? How long has he been abducted?
Mm-hmm.
Things like that. Yeah, there's a lot to wrap up. I'm actually surprised. I forgot we only had 6 episodes. When you said at the top that there was only 1 episode left, I'm like, wow, they got a lot to wrap up.
Yeah, and what we've seen in a lot of the MCU Disney Plus shows is the finale is usually an all-out bonkers battle and stuff, which Dave set that up. Like, we're probably going to get an action-packed finale, and I'm all for it. Let's go. But there are a lot of details to wrap up. But that call, I got to be honest, I'm a bit stumped.
Yeah, I'm going to say, and again, I'm probably wrong, but I'm gonna say Coulson.
Coulson, there's your pick.
Yeah,
I'm throwing out the real Abigail Brand, whether that is, as you call her, Daenerys.
Because I can't remember anyone's name.
Yeah, if it is Emilia Clarke or not playing both roles, that would be kind of cool, and that would solve that thing of who she's been playing, or a different actress completely. I just don't think it's somebody we've met before. And
you don't think it's someone we've met. Okay.
I kind of don't think it is. That's my guess. I don't know. We're just spitballing right now. If you're watching and you got a guess, drop a comment because, that damn speech just really throws me off.
Yeah.
Because then I could have been like Captain America, right? You could have got Sam Wilson, Captain America in here. You could have,
Right.
I don't know, like he would have
Bucky.
made sense. Bucky
Or-
would have made sense. Both of them would have made sense. Who knows?
But yeah. I we'll see. I guess we'll see next Wednesday.
Yeah, well, we will see next week. So
And
yeah.
before we move on, I don't think we covered that fucking savage like Gravik fight.
Oh yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. Yeah,
Yeah,
I almost,
like his people start to turn on him. Like they're like, wait, you're insane, and they like they have like this coup. I thought it was awesome. Like they distract him at a table, they throw a fucking plastic bag over his head, and they wrestle him to the ground. He turns into a Skrull, but he's so powerful, he fucking destroys them. He gets like literally repels them all, and he's like, who else? I'll take you all on. Like that was like, wow, like because that's escalation too, because he's losing it.
Yeah, no, he's definitely he's revealing to his people now what we've seen behind the scenes to an extent.
Yes, of what
He's
he
full
really
on
is.
Super Skrull fucking villain now.
Yep.
And I think that sets up for the finale for the big ass battle that we're expecting. So yeah, I would say if they stick the landing with this finale also, this will be in the upper echelon of Disney Plus shows.
I agree.
For
And
me.
for me too, because I like it's a character study of Nick Fury. It's really an exploration of the Skrulls. It's not a lot of crazy action, which I'm fine with. Like,
yeah,
I don't always need explosions in my superhero stuff. Like, you know me, some of my favorite endings of these movies are ones that are not battles. Like, Damar Dormammu have come to bargain. It's literally my favorite fucking end of any conflict in the MCU. Doctor Strange is like, fuck you. You were stuck here together until you give me my way. So this is really hitting it for me. And I love Sam Jackson. I am really sad that I know he's going to survive this. Again, not that I want him to die. I wanted the mystery to be there. But regardless, I agree. This is in the top for me.
Plus another thing I think that I want to see now. So there's a part of me that is kind of happy that he is going to survive this, only because I want to see. I'm pretty sure at one point we discussed this. He's sort of a showdown between Nick Fury and Val that they've been kind of setting up there. So she's setting up her Thunderbolts team.
Yeah.
You got to imagine Nick Fury's going to have something to say about that, and we'll get that. I'm guessing we're going to get that eventually.
Well, actually, shit. Maybe he called Val. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe he's calling in the Thunderbolt or calling in someone from her team. That might be something.
Possible. It's possible. I don't know. That's I gotta be honest. It's still stumping. So
yeah, but you know what? I'm happy. I'm glad I don't know because I'll be surprised next Wednesday.
Yeah, and one thing I will call before the finale. I think we're definitely getting a post-credit scene for the finale that will lead into the Marvels. That would only make logical sense.
100%.
So, all right. So, Jason, you don't like explosions, huh?
In moderation, Ed. In moderation.
Well,
it's not explosions I mind so much as sexism and misogyny and racism and bad storytelling and wiping your ass with fucking pop culture, royalty. But I'm sorry, Ed. I'm talking about this piece of shit movie you haven't set up yet.
Jason, there could have been a better introduction to Transformers Dark of the Moon, which is our movie of the week as we continue our run through the Michael Bay era of Transformers live action films. Last week we checked out Transformers Revenge of the Fallen, which I apologize to my two dogs and my wife for watching, because they were in the area. So, yeah, this made me go ahead and get my free 7-day trial of Paramount Plus because I refuse to pay a dime for this piece of shit. Without burying it, this is garbage. I knew it was garbage. I saw this movie in the theater. This was the last Michael Bay Transformers movie that I watched in the theater, actually at all in its entirety, because Age of Extinction and Last Night I have not seen. When I watch them in the next couple of weeks, it's going to be the first time I actually watched these fucking movies in their
Right.
entirety.
That's something. So you and I are in the same boat for these next two.
Yeah, we're fresh eyes for these. I've only seen like some snippets of it. But as far as Dark of the Moon, all right. My overall thoughts are this movie is a dumpster fire again. It's crap. The storytelling is shit. The characterization is shit. These movies keep getting longer runtimes, but seem to be more boring as they go on.
Oh, so boring.
And I will repeat myself from last week. How do you make a 2-hour and 40-something minute movie about giant transforming robots based on an 80s Saturday morning cartoon boring? How does that happen?
And for this movie, you've literally given us a fucking cartoon plot, and it's still boring. This, like, the plot of this, this is the one.
Describe it. Give us the plot, Jason.
This is the one thing I want to shout out about this movie is this is a convoluted plot you'd find in a fucking a child's cartoon. So at least it nailed that. Here's the plot.
Okay.
Here's the plot. Optimus. Oh, no, wait. I'm sorry. I'm starting with Transformers. My bad. Sam Witwicky is having a hard time getting a job. Sam Witwicky has graduated college, but because he cannot put any of the cool shit he did in the other movies on his resume, and he sucks at job interviews, by the way, Sam Witwicky cannot get a job. Sam Witwicky's new girlfriend, who didn't call Steven Spielberg or Michael Bay or someone a fucking Nazi on the last movie, she has a good job and works for, wait for it, the first baffling fucking cast member, Patrick Dempsey, ? And so the first half an hour of this movie, before I get into anything of the plot of the Autobots, which you all came to this movie for, is literally Sam Witwicky going on a fucking montage of job interviews where he is a shitty fucking person. He makes a racist comment to an Asian guy who's like, oh, you're like Asian Colonel Sanders. It's like, oh, gee, why would I even hire you, Sam Witwicky? You fucking idiot racist.
Jason, I can't disagree. I can't disagree at all. I think the answer to the question is, how do you make a movie about transforming robots boring, is by not including them as the main part of your movie. That's the problem.
The whole, literally, I don't, except for those two fucking piece of garbage, things that transform into my shit that are not actually in the cartoon, right? That are, or maybe they are, but none of these things
Steve Buscemi's Wheelie, very loosely called Wheelie, looks nothing like, remember, he was the Decepticon in the last movie that defected to the Autobots, but was humping Megan Fox's leg in that movie. Yeah. And now he has a sidekick that I don't know where he came from or what his name is, because they don't ever say it. Okay. No, he just appears and they're living with Sam Witwicky, because I have to go along since you want to say it like that.
Sam Witwicky.
Sam Witwicky. They're living with him for some bizarre reason, and Sam feels inadequate because, like you had mentioned, he can't tell anyone about all the cool shit he did in the first two movies, and Bumblebee is off and with the Autobots and saving the world like he should be.
And look, I'm going to point this out. He does not say he's out saving the world. He says, oh, he's out on fucking Black Ops mission for the CIA. The fucking CIA are sending Bumblebee into fucking South American countries to knock off their dictators and set up puppet governments. This is the world Michael Bay wants us to live in with Transformers.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, because it does bring up one of the other things. Yeah, because Optimus Prime, again, gives this whole spiel in the beginning, or through voiceover, of what the Autobots are doing right now with Nest. And we find out, exactly what you just said. The Autobots are working with the American government to no longer, they're watching out for Decepticons. Apparently there's no Decepticons anymore, at least that's what they're saying, until there is, immediately. But he says they're intervening in human problems. So they're pretty much the muscle for the U.S. government in this movie, in the beginning at least.
Sam Witwicky, we are happy to report that the United States will never need oil again as we destroyed everyone living in the Middle East and set up colonies for the United States. I mean, that's exactly what the CIA would be having fucking giant kaiju robot monsters do for them.
But what I don't understand is Prime says that that's what they're doing until the next scene they're in Chernobyl where they find Decepticons. And then Prime, we get introduction to what's supposed to be Shockwave, who I guess somewhat in the face resembles Shockwave from the cartoon. But he has this like Decepticon big monster that swirls through things. And we get this battle with Optimus Prime that I guess is okay on some level. I don't know. It's there, but then we don't see Shockwave and this monster of his until the end of the fucking movie. They just disappear. Characters disappear in this movie for long stretches of time with no fucking explanation. It happens constantly.
Well, the thing is, though, and I'm going to give credit to this movie, Ed, is none of these things are characters, and therefore they don't expect you to miss them when they're not on screen.
That's fair. Okay. And before we get to the main thing, well, one of the main things I've had, because there were a couple of things that brought back to me after the one time I watched this piece of shit in the theater that pissed me off to no end. But let's get into the Buzz Aldrin stuff.
Wait, but you're jumping ahead of when Sam Witwicky lands his job with, let me check my notes, John Malkovich. How the fuck did they get him? What devil did he sell his soul to get stuck in this piece of shit? Like, you really want to leave the Sam Witwicky saga to go talk about other things?
Very briefly. very briefly. I'm gonna try to make this more entertaining than it. So, in the beginning of the movie, we do find out actually the opening scene it's a flashback to the '60s and the whole Earth putting people on the moon was a cover up for, the U.S. government finding the Decepticons and stuff like that on the moon, which apparently was Sentinel Prime, who lands. He was voiced by Leonard Nimoy in this movie. And I know Jason will have something to say about that very shortly.
I have grief. I have issues.
So Sentinel Prime lands on the moon and has these pillars that are going to be a form of space bridge to bring Cybertron to Earth, and that's the plan. So that's what we get here, and we get a Buzz Aldrin cameo in this movie
again,
which is bonkers.
Did he sell his soul to the devil to make it to space in real life? And this is what the devil's like. Hey, Buzz, remember I told you that I'd get you back alive if you sold your soul, and I would have you debase yourself at the end of your life. Here it is, my friend. Transform as Dark of the Moon.
I don't know how these cameos get pulled off, but yeah, so that's pretty much what that is. So that ties into this, Jason. So based on two people who have watched 3 of these movies in consecutive 3 weeks now, if we follow along here, Megatron lands on Earth in, let's say, the 30s or the 20s. Are we going to say that's when he lands? And he meets
guess
Sam Witwicky's great-great-grandfather. Right?
That's right. Yeah. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah. That's when he gives him the
glasses,
the glasses,
the Allspark. Yeah, because the Allspark doesn't matter anymore either way. By the way.
No. That was the MacGuffin of the first movie. We're 3 MacGuffins later.
Yeah. So we have Allspark. Second movie was the Matrix of Leadership, and which does make a brief appearance in this movie. But so I just want to make sure we track this, right? So Megatron lands in the 20s or 30s. Sentinel lands in the late 60s, right? Am I off base on this?
No,
right?
No, that's about it, yeah.
Okay. So, we find out, big twist, Sentinel Prime, former leader of the Autobots on Cybertron, launched a coup with Megatron together to pretty much, because Sentinel says, the Autobots were never going to win the war. We need to do what's best for Cybertron and our people. We're going to get this space bridge somewhere. Let's go meet up on Earth so we can do this together. We'll wipe them out and have Cybertron there. Okay, you with me so far?
Yeah, that's what this movie says.
Okay, so Jason, if me and you were going to meet up somewhere, would we miss each other by 40 fucking years?
I knew that's where that was going.
Would that happen? This advanced race of alien robots isn't very good with timing.
Well, time means nothing to them. They're machines.
Oh, okay. That's
Yeah, I don't. It doesn't make any. Look, dude, none of these movies make sense. None of them.
I just want to make sure I'm not going crazy. I didn't take the crazy pills here.
Because every movie they posit like, yeah, there's never been a Decepticon except now, and it's like, so we got one in the 60s, one in the 30s. In the next movie, you're gonna posit King fucking Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table were all Decepticons. It's like, come on, like how far back are we going?
I don't know, but that drives me completely fucking batshit crazy.
There's no continuity. Look, not even the writers of these movies watch these movies, obviously.
Well, I also did clock that there is a new writer that was brought on for this movie. So they ditched the writers of the first two, brought on a new one who apparently did not watch the first two movies.
No.
Okay.
No.
All right, so checks notes. Okay, I'm good. I just want to make sure I was attempting to follow this mess properly.
And just to be clear on the plan, because I actually never got to the plan because I got caught up in the Witwicky weeds just like this movie does. Because guys, his parents are back. Aren't you all excited to see the Witwickies back for a third time? Isn't that what we go into this movie for? Not Transformers, but Witwickies?
So I'm gonna give this movie, I don't want to say credit, but part of my argument for why I feel this movie is not as bad as Revenge of the Fallen, they both suck. But why I will give this movie the leg up on it is at least this movie was like, okay, we got a lot of parents in the second movie. They did scale back the parents tremendously, and they actually forget about the parents at one point.
They forget about everyone at some point.
No, they do. They forget about everybody. But this was the one where I'm like, that is smart. Let's get the parents out of this. They're on some bus traveling the world for some reason. They run into Sam. They have a conversation. And then that's the last we see of them. And that's like halfway through the movie, I think, because this movie just goes on forever.
Bye-bye, movie.
Yes. Bye-bye. We got our check. See you later.
All right. I'll give you that. All
right.
So I'm sorry. I keep purposefully like going through the Witwicky shit, but
no, we're back. We're back, baby.
So this is the plot, okay? Megatron, for whatever reason, cannot find because you need a prime to do this, right? So he needs a prime.
Just like we needed a prime to only kill a prime in the second movie.
That's right. To resurrect this prime. So he plays this fucking like game of dominoes where he sets the pieces up so they find this piece of shit prime, and Optimus goes, "Hey, it's piece of shit prime, my hero. Let me revive him." And he comes back, and he's a good guy for about 10 minutes. And goes, "Oh, by the way, yeah, I came here to enslave Earth. Fuck y'all."
Yeah. But so Megatron figures we need to revive him, even though I've never actually seen him here. We know he's in some stasis because Megatron knows in the last movie that Prime now has the Matrix of Leadership, and that's apparently what we just keep putting shit in random Transformers' chests. It kills them, it revives them. That's just what happens.
And then it gets forgotten in the next movie.
Yes, and then the next movie we'll just forget about it. So Sam Witwicky. Back to him, because we have to always go back to him.
Oh, Sam Witwicky, it's very important you lose your virginity. That's my favorite. It's American Pie Transformers.
Oh, listen. Sam Witwicky apparently has no problem with that.
Sam Witwicky. Sorry.
Yeah. Sam Witwicky has no problem, going ahead and getting the ladies. I can tell you that much, because they briefly dismiss Michaela in this movie, moves on, and yes, Sam Witwicky goes from Megan Fox to I forgot her name in this, but another model level, apparently actress here again. Good job, Sam Witwicky. I don't know what else to tell you, man. Good for you, man. But Sam has no job at the time, as you had mentioned. He's going on his interviews, but Dr. McDreamy over there pulls his card, and because we find out he's working with the Decepticons also.
Oh yeah, we find that out with an hour left to the movie.
Oh yeah, because that's what we needed.
Yeah.
Gets him a job working in a tech company with John Malkovich. Yes, John Malkovich is the boss there and is completely insane. And it looks like he has leather skin in this movie.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Malkovich must have went, all right, you're going to pay me no matter what I do? As long as I read okay? All right.
And then John Malkovich goes ahead and stumbles upon Sam Witwicky with Ken Jeong's character in a bathroom, and there's definitely gay panic jokes going on.
Oh, God, there's so many gay panic jokes in this fucking movie. Like, there's the Ken Jeong thing, which, checks notes, why the fuck is Ken Jeong in this movie?
Because of The Hangover. People like The Hangover, so get Ken Jeong.
I mean, he makes no sense in this movie. But yeah, you get that, right? Like, oh, what you doing there? Ho, ho, ho. Isn't it fucking crazy that some people are homosexual? Ho, 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 ho. But then you also get Alan Tudyk's character, who, like, much later on, he's like he works with John Turturro. He's very obviously gay and effeminate. And isn't that hysterical that some people are gay and effeminate? Ah, ha, ha, ha. Could you imagine that people like that exist? That's the joke, guys. I mean, it's so fucking lazy. It's lazy. It's not even funny.
Yeah, it's weird. But it does go on to the common theme in this movie is so you got Alan Tudyk, Ken Jeong, John Malkovich, John Turturro back again, and
Frances McDormand.
Frances McDormand is in this movie too, who none of these characters actually affect any part of the story whatsoever. If you took all their characters and their arcs out of this movie, we get a better movie.
Arcs?
Because then there's less humans.
They have arcs?
No, they don't. There's no arcs. Because John Malkovich's character is there to be the boss, to get to see Bumblebee, and then wants to play fight with Bumblebee, he's done with the movie. Alan Tudyk's character is there to be like, oh, look, I'm a feminine. Look at me. Laugh at me. Wait, I'm a badass.
Which, that could have been something.
Am I
like
wrong?
If that was a character, right? Like, I got excited in that second. Like, oh, yeah. Like, but if he's still gay after that, and like, but he's a badass, that's saying, no, he's just not there. He's just, like, none of these things are characters.
No. Then John Turturro's Agent Simmons is brought back, and apparently he's writing books now, and he's in a wheelchair? I guess due to injuries in Revenge of the Fallen, I have no fucking idea. But I think at one point he's not in the chair.
Yeah, he's up, he's down. John Turturro's like, do I have to come back? Like, I want to know what demon owns John Turturro's soul. Because he's in all of these fucking movies.
This is it. Most of this cast we never see again.
Oh, thank you. Is Sam Witwicky gone?
Yes.
Yes! Yes!
There's no more Sam Witwicky. I actually am very curious to know in the next movie how the Autobots completely just decided to never. I don't know if they ever mentioned him again.
He had to go back to his planet. His planet needed him.
But John Turturro does say to Frances McDormand, because we can find that their characters had a relationship, and apparently he's in love with her. And he walks, and she says something to him, and he tells her, "Your booty is excellent." That was my MeUndies line of this movie. I don't know why that line made me laugh out loud so badly of how awful it is. I just
bad.
kept laughing with it.
Yeah, I mean, look, you gotta laugh or cry. I mean,
but we also get our good friend Peter Parker's landlord is in this movie.
Yeah, he's looking for rent. Look, if they abandoned all of this shit, and it just became a movie of him hunting down rent, better movie.
Oh, absolutely. That human stuff I would take. So let's get back to the Transformers briefly, because there's that.
I mean, someone should. This movie isn't.
Yeah, so Megatron is in the Outback. We find him after the last movie with Soundwave and they introduced the thing that's supposed to be Laserbeak through this movie that keeps murdering people. And Megatron has a massive cloth, because we're talking about a Transformer here, covering his head and part of his shoulder, because that's going to be the disguise. Jason, I texted you immediately.
Yep.
That wasn't fucking Thor in Ragnarok when he was on Sakaar?
Seriously.
Like, look, you see me. No, you don't.
If
What the fuck is that?
If I'm in a crowded marketplace and there's Megatron with a fucking shroud over his face, and you're like, wait a minute, is that a giant kaiju fucking robot trying to hide under a shroud? Like, that's ridiculous. Turn into a car. You don't need a shroud. You are your own fucking chameleon system.
I don't know. And he does at some point. So it even raises the question further about why he's walking around through the majority of the... Even though we get like maybe 5 to 10 minutes of Megatron, like he's barely in this movie.
He is. It's this where he sets the plot up, and then it's the end where they use his vanity to fuck his own plot up.
Oh, that was... we'll save a minute for that, because that whole thing was a complete shit show. The third act of this movie. If there are any acts.
I was gonna say there are acts in this movie.
No, not exactly. So let's get to more of the plot. Let's talk some Transformers then. So the Autobots are going to leave Earth. This is their plan. We're going to fake our own deaths that we're leaving on a space shuttle to surprise the Decepticons later. What happens during this? Chicago gets taken over. The Decepticons murder countless humans. And then the Autobots are like, surprise, we're alive.
We did this to teach you a lesson. No, that's literally what he says, because the whole thing is that Shitball Prime is like, hey, look, sure, our name are Decepticons. Deception's in our name, fine. But ignore that, because if you just get rid of the Autobot good guys that have been helping you run fucking Black Ops for the last couple of years, if you get them off the planet, then all we want to do is take some resources and go home. Scouts honor. And Americans go, good enough. Hey, he said Scouts honor. All right, get the fuck out of here, Autobots. And Prime is like, all right. And they fly up in a spaceship. And it's like the fucking Challenger, man. It just explodes out of nowhere. And it's like, why are you evoking Challenger imagery in my fucking Transformers movie?
But they never actually explained how the Autobots pulled off this deception. That's never explained at any point.
What? No, you didn't get it. Optimus comes back and he says, Sam Witwicky, we needed to teach you a lesson to show you that you really needed us, so we did this. Isn't that all you need? Yeah, exactly. And this movie becomes a fucking post-apocalyptic Michael Bay movie for a half an hour. Because for that span that's just the Decepticons, they're hunting people down, they're fucking with them. Like, I texted you, like, they're just wantonly murdering people in a scene right after Shitball Prime reveals that the plot is to enslave humanity and force them to rebuild Cybertron. It's like, well, if your plot is to enslave people, why are you murdering them? That just doesn't make sense for your bottom line. The more slaves you have, the more production you get.
One would assume this. One would also assume that the Decepticons could probably do it a lot faster than the humans.
Yes, yeah. Having fucking, when you are a giant kaiju machine, having flesh bag slaves is pointless.
Yeah, it's not what you want. So then leads into the third act. We find out that the Autobots have these guys called the Wreckers, who are supposed to be I guess they were supposed to be cool for somebody. They're not. They're just regular Autobots that are called Wreckers, and they don't actually wreck shit. I don't know what that's about. And now, in the third act, Michael Bay resumes his U.S. military, just blowjob. I don't know what else you want to call it. There's just... So we're set up, and try to follow this here, because I want to make sure that I didn't mess this up. So there's a battle going on. Autobots, Decepticons, city, all this other shit. Let's cut away for slow motion shots of winged suit troopers jumping out. And we get that. Then cut back. Oh, Autobots are captured. What? Where was this battle? So the Autobots are captured, right? Follow me here. humans doing shit. Go ahead. Got my 6. I'm on your 9. This and that. Blah blah blah. Shit's going down. Wait. Optimus Prime shows up. I wasn't captured. I need my trailer. He gets his trailer. He's got a bunch of flight shit that looks like something out of RoboCop 3. And he goes out and flies around. He's battling Decepticons. He's wiping the floor with them. And then he gets tangled up in some webbing thing in a building. Cut back to humans battling it out for another 20 minutes. Prime is still caught up in this thing he can't get out of. He somehow gets out of it. Resumes. Autobots are free. Nope, they're captured. Wait, they're free. No, they're captured. Prime is back again to go ahead and fight.
You know what it's like watching? It's like watching someone who just got a whole set of Transformers and a whole set of G.I. Joe, and they're like, I want to play. Yeah, that's what this is. This isn't a story. Like, in this battle, I had no idea what the fuck was going on. It's just dark, muted, colored kaijus hitting each other, and then the military shit, which comes to nothing.
Yeah. All right. So we're still here, and then Bumblebee somehow frees them. Then gets captured again. He's about to get murdered. He's going to get executed, and then get saved. And then we get this shot. Looks like it's out of Call of Duty by someone's gun, and that's the shot we get of the battle that's going on through a first-person Call of Duty view from a random fighter. And Michael Bay, make sure he got this one in. Slow-mo shot of Sam's girlfriend with all this havoc going on in the background. That shot went on for like a good 40 seconds to a minute.
And what he teaches us there is that there's always time to objectify attractive women.
Yes.
Even in the middle of death, there's always time.
There is always time. When this is all going down, this is what you got to make sure. So then we get where she goes ahead and she's like, hey, she somehow seeks out Megatron, who's like laying around in an alley somewhere with this thing on, and is like, oh, you're gonna be Sentinel's bitch. He's really the guy who's in charge, blah blah blah. And then Megatron's like, no, I'm not. That's not true. I'm going to take him down. So then Optimus Prime is fighting Sentinel Prime. They're having this all-out battle, and he ends up taking off Prime's arm in that battle. Megatron interferes because he's so angry that she said that he was going to be Sentinel Prime's bitch, that he fucking saves Optimus Prime, his mortal enemy, through the first 2.5 movies. What?
It'd be fitting for the end of a cartoon. Like, that's what I said. It's like someone did watch one episode of this show, not a very good one, and said, all right, how do I adapt this convoluted plot in 3 hours with essentially people not playing characters?
Yeah.
Because that whole twist of like, no, I'm really in charge. I'm going to prove that so much. I'm going to help the good guys. That's a fucking 80s cartoon move. That's like a Skeletor Saves Christmas move.
But wait, it gets better. So during this same battle, Megatron saves Optimus Prime, even though he's got one arm cut off. Then they talk shit to each other while Sentinel Prime is on the ground. And then Optimus Prime with one arm decapitates Megatron and murders him. Looks pretty damn dead to me. And then executes Sentinel Prime with one arm. Literally one arm, Optimus does all of this. And then there's this shot of like, there's a bunch of slow motion shit. And then Bumblebee goes to Sam Witwicky and his new girlfriend and has these random rings that he's popping about. And Sam Witwicky says, all right, pump the brakes.
Yeah.
Let's calm down. And end of movie. Roll credits. And then we get a brief mid-credit scene.
Was there?
Oh, there was. Agent Simmons.
I didn't watch that.
Oh, yeah. Agent Simmons goes ahead and is telling Frances McDormand's character about how much he loves her and gropes her briefly. She smiles, and then he gets arrested. And he goes, it doesn't matter. It was worth it for love. That's really the end of the movie.
Oh, God. That's even worse than what I thought the end of the movie was.
Oh,
This
man.
movie sucks. And you know what? We didn't even call out the worst part of this movie for me. Okay? The worst
Oh,
part of
yes.
this The worst part of this movie for me is when fucking shithead Prime, voiced by the late, great Leonard Nimoy, who was an amazing actor, an amazing human being. I hope that whatever devil's deal he made to get his Star Trek fame, he cashed it out here and is in heaven right now and not stuck in the bowels of hell reliving this movie. But he's fighting Prime, and he says to Prime, and I literally paused this movie when I was watching it and texted you. I was so angry. He says, "You must learn, Prime. The needs of the many are greater than the needs of the one." And it's like, fuck you, movie. You invoke fucking Spock's dying words, one of the best scenes of all Star Trek history, where Spock is fucking dying for just saving the fucking Enterprise, and he gives this beautiful speech, "You will always be my friend. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few, or the needs of the, in this case, the needs of the one." It's a beautiful fucking scene from a beautiful movie. How dare this piece of shit wipe its ass with it? I'm so angry. Fuck you, movie.
Wow, there it is. There it is. Wow, so last week I fuck you movie to Revenge of the Fallen for existing. This week you have fuck you movies for them invoking fucking Spock.
And
Oh,
you know
man.
what? I said that I would tell you at this point, take The Rock. If it'll wipe this out of existence, take The Rock. I can live without it.
So I guess by default, the first one is the best of this run, which we weren't shocked about. I think we both agreed that that would probably be the case, even though this is the first time you've seen the sequels.
Yes. Oh, I know what's for me and what's not. Okay, I saw that first movie in the theater. I went, yeah, that was interesting. That's the good one. And never returned to any of these. And the more they came out, the more I said, it'll be a cold day in hell before I watch any of these fucking movies. And here we are. And this is exactly why I said that, Ed. I knew this would happen.
Oh man, it's rough.
This is bad. These movies are fucking bad. How did they make money at all?
Well,
After the first one.
Well, yeah. Well, what happens is Revenge of the Fallen makes a bunch of money off of the success of the first one.
You're right.
People hated the second one, so this one, not as much. That's usually how these franchises go. So, don't worry. They started decreasing little by little, and that's why they, wink, wink, decided to reboot with Bumblebee. Secret reboot.
Secret reboot. That I listened to a podcast, guys who actually don't like movies like this. They were
Mm-hmm.
talking about that movie, and they had no fucking idea that it was a reboot. And it's not their fault. It's a secret reboot. They don't tell you it's a reboot, and they should.
Well, I think they wanted to somewhat leave it open-ended, because it's like, well, we want to appeal to those who like these movies, and we want to appeal to people who just like Transformers. So we won't say it, but then once the success happened, then it got critical acclaim and everything. Yes, it's a reboot.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. So I guess we can wrap this movie up by. So do you still truly feel that Revenge of the Fallen is better than this?
Yes.
Is it because of the Spock thing that pushed you over?
Yes.
So without the Spock thing, though, if you can try to remove the Spock thing,
Then, I mean, I would have to give it to this movie only because John Malkovich is in it. I mean, it's not. That's the thing. It's
bad.
They're both really terrible. Like, you're asking me to decide, which shit is worse, this diarrhea or this diarrhea? It's like, I don't know. They're both diarrhea, but yeah, I mean, I don't actually, even removing the Spock thing. Yeah, this is a little better. I don't see this as a huge improvement. It's
not.
It makes just as little sense. I mean, as Revenge of the Fallen.
No. These movies the stories are both crap. I give this movie the slight nod over, just because. I don't know. Revenge of the Fallen really is just.
Yeah, that's the thing.
No,
yeah, we're both like, yeah, I guess, because I don't know.
I guess. I don't know, man. There's just the Michael. It's just Michael Bay's whole thing with these movies is just, again, the pacing is horrible. The runtime is completely unnecessary. The action scenes again are impossible to follow for the most part. We still get Optimus Prime completely kind of out of character, just massively executing people. Robots.
I don't he would not have executed Megatron, especially after Megatron just saved his life. Like that.
Yeah.
That's like, again, you're giving me a cartoon Megatron. I want to be the head villain. But you're giving me a fucking ruthless, Optimus, thanks for saving me, bitch. Slice. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
That needed to be the moment where Optimus went, you see, there are worse things. We can band together and save Cybertron or something. And then, of course, forget about it next movie, because you're going to forget about all of this anyway.
Yeah, this is brutal. It appears Tim is back. I think he has something to say to chime in with Dark of the Moon before we sign off.
Let's give Tim last words.
Yes, Tim can have last words on his. Tim, you got any last final words before Dark of the Moon? Because we're wrapping up with it.
Yeah, fuck this movie, man.
Yes.
No, let me tell you exactly why. I think I get into movies where they base it on real shit. I love that. I think it's fascinating. I like The Moon was a hit in this. They hit it. Actually really fucking erases your memory. Nicolas Cage runs around looking for shit that's on the back of the decoration. I love all that kind of stuff. When they interact real world stuff with movies, I think it's great. This totally just like shit down my mouth. That's all I'm going to say. I'm sure you said the rest.
I mean, are we being? No, I know Tim's feelings on this movie, but we're not being too harsh on this. By the way, which one do you think is worse, Revenge of the Fallen or this?
This, I think this is worse.
This is worse.
Wow. Think so.
Okay.
I hated. I hated so much about this movie. The only good thing about this movie was what's her name, the model. That was really it. There was nothing else really worth even mentioning in this movie.
I gotta find her name because I feel like we just keep on calling her.
The model.
Yeah, the model. Rosie Huntington.
Rose Whitley Huntington, right? Something like that.
Huntington Whitley. Yeah.
Yeah. The glorified shot of her in her underwear, the opening shot, of course. Perfect Michael.
Of course.
Bay. It's not a Michael Bay movie if we don't use the cinematography of a porno set.
Yeah. No, I said, Jason, I feel bad for you because they get worse and worse.
So Tim, you've seen 4 and 5 in its entirety.
Yes.
Okay. We have not. I remember I told you I've never watched them. I've seen 20 minutes and I stopped.
When are you watching 4?
When am I actually watching it? Probably Sunday at some point. I'm gonna have to watch it before my Paramount Plus weekly subscription expires. That's when I'm watching it.
I might have to come over and just watch you watch it.
I might have to pause it and take a walk around the block and come back at some point.
That's what I'm saying. I'm gonna make it called "Watching Ed Watch Transformers." It's just gonna be watching you watch the movie.
I would love to do a viewing party with one of these pieces of shit movies with you guys. Because at least then we could crack on it together. At least then there's something there. Watching this alone is dreadful.
No, it is dreadful, and with these last two, I remember I told you I had to stop it after 2 hours just because I actually had something to do, and I looked and I'm like, how is there 47 minutes of this movie fucking left? How is this humanly possible?
I don't know.
And they get worse. That's what I'm saying.
Oh my God. It's something.
Ed, no way I can get fired off the show before the next episode. What do I got to do here? Do I got to get canceled? Do I got to...
Jason, Jason, we're in this together. Remember when we started the show off saying we're a team. We have to survive this together.
You're right. Like you can't blame me for trying, But all right, I'm here.
2 weeks. 2 weeks left.
You know what? That is going to be what I ask for in return. When we have a slow week, we cover Total Recall just because I want to fucking cover Total Recall.
You think you have to twist my arm to cover all the Schwarzenegger movie?
No,
that's not called The Sixth Sense.
Yeah, that.
No, sorry, The Sixth Day. The Sixth Day.
Sixth Day. That's pretty good.
Not Sixth Sense. The Sixth Day. That's the only one where I'm like, this is god awful. Oh, Junior also. So those two.
All right, yeah. There's some of that, but all right, yeah. All right. When the first time we have a slow week, we're doing some Total Recall. Nothing to do with comic books. Just to talk about Total Recall, because fuck it, if I had to talk about like 20 hours, like how many hours am I spending watching these movies?
We'll count them up at the end.
Okay.
How many Bayformers hours we've spent in the last month plus?
If we got to get through that, Ed, then we deserve a little 2 weeks. At the end of these 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Get your ass to Mars.
I love that movie so much, and it's based on a Philip K. Dick short story, which I've read and it's pretty awesome. Like I love that movie so much.
Two words why that movie is fantastic. Michael Ironsides.
Yes,
he is pretty great in that movie.
He's one of my top 5 favorite actors of all time.
He's awesome. He is awesome.
All right, so that wraps it up for us this week. Thanks for joining us, as always. We will be back next week. We'll talk out the time. Probably shoot for a Friday afternoon again. We'll see. But next week, we will be talking about the latest adventure of My Adventures with Superman, or Jason's Adventures with Superman.
Yeah, My Adventures with Superman.
Your Adventures with Superman. The series finale of Secret Invasion. So that should be crazy. By the way, Tim, who do you think Nick Fury was talking to on the phone? You want to throw any guesses?
I have no guesses, to be honest with you. I have no, I don't even have a guess.
Mephisto?
I was gonna say Mojo to make Jason happy.
Yes.
Nick Fury has Mojo or Mephisto's number. He just calls him.
It would make no sense, but I would love it.
I got Alien Bob right there. That's awesome. No, I have no clue.
No guesses. All right. Well, we'll be back talking about that, and also next week's movie, Transformers: Age of Extinction. Jason, just think about it. We're almost there. We're almost through this.
Almost. We're at this was the midpoint. This was the point of no return.
Yes, we kind of have to finish it at this point. This is now where Sam Witwicky is no longer. I just want to know if they address him, and Mark Wahlberg.
Yo, bro.
He's in for the last 2. Yes.
Mark Wahlberg. I love Wahlburgers. I own every Marky Mark album, Mark Wahlberger.
And there is one thing I do know about Age of Extinction, is that there's a justification, or an attempt at a justification, for dating an underage girl in that movie. That part I did see.
What?
You weren't familiar with the Romeo and Juliet law in Texas? Oh, that is next week, because that has everything to do with transforming robots.
Oh, God.
We'll leave you on that note. But yeah, if you're checking us out on the Facebook live stream, go ahead and check out Granny Speech TV Facebook group, where you can catch out trailers and other stories that don't make the show. Also check out Pop Culture Pros and popculturepros.com. YouTube, subscribe to Pop Culture Pros. Twitter, you can go ahead and follow at Pop Culture Pros. And Tim, you got anything coming up you want to plug for this week?
You know what? By the way, I do have a shameless plug tonight, because I missed Eric is still MIA. He was attacked backstage. He's knocked out of action. We don't know who the culprit is yet. We were investigating. We will find out who this person is. I think I'm going to do a shoot and a shit tonight, which means any subject, anything you want to talk about. I think I already have Rick locked in. We're going to discuss the Mayan show, because no one else watched that show except for him that I know of. We're going to talk about that, and then we could talk about anything you want.
You and Rick doing a show together with no subject matter should be very entertaining.
Well, hopefully other people will come on, and you whatever, come and discuss whatever. I don't care what it is. That's why it's going to be shooting shit.
I kind of wanted. There's a part of me that hopes it's just you and Rick, just with no target, just going on for like 2 hours straight.
I don't know if I can that long when he comes out with some of his theories. I might just like.
Oh, that, and maybe you guys can review 28 Days Later.
Oh God, please. And we should do that.
Me and you?
Yeah.
It would probably be like me and Jason talking about Bayformers.
It's a new show called like What the Fuck or Give Me That 2 Hours Back or something like that.
If these movies were only 2 hours.
Yeah, really. I'd take a 2 hour Transformer movie right now.
Look, this movie that like the glass broke, and I realized how horrible Mark Wahlberg is as an actor. This is the movie that did that.
Wow.
This is the movie that ruined him for me.
All right. We will see. We'll see how that goes. I'm going to fasten in my seatbelt. Tim, I will let you know when I'm planning to do this, and if you're free, if you want to come by and watch it with me, or Jason, both of you, I don't care. We can do our watch part if you want.
I'll bring roses. It'll ease the pain.
Yeah, let me know when you're going to do it. I'll see if I can get away.
Sounds good. All right. I'll talk to you guys next week.
All right.
Peace.
Later.